you know.
You're welcome.
We were open
Yes.
restaurants down the street. We drove in this morning from Harrisburg. That race is getting lovely. We'll talk after.
Yeah. All right, ready? Good? Good?
Yep, yes.
All right, I will call this Thursday, October 27th meeting of the Lawrence County Board of Elections to order. Chris, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Here.
Commissioner Vogler?
Here,
Commissioner Boyd?
Here, do we have any members of the public wishing to make public comment? Seeing none? Approval of minutes from the June 6th, 2022 meeting. I'll give my colleagues a minute to check those over. The only thing that I'll note here is there is a resolution number attached at the very end there. That was put at the recommendation of Jason. If you remember, we made the motion but didn't have the physical resolution.
right,
Per legal advice, we were allowed to have the resolution. Because we made the motion, the resolution was attached therein after we reduced our verbiage to writing.
makes sense.
On that note, I will move.
Thank you.
That's for approval of the minutes, right?
Yes.
I will second.
No, not move out of town.
We have a motion second for discussion, hearing none, question on the motion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Election Director's report. Tim, what do you have to report?
Well, just quick stats. We have, registration ended on the 24th. So as of just a couple minutes ago, I ran a report, 56,376 registered voters in the county, with Republican Party, at the top of it with 27,447. Democrats at 22,144. And the third party in, as numbers, was 4,644 for no affiliation. The rest are various parties. And as far as requests for mail-in ballots, we just topped over 7,000. We had 7,195 requests for mail-in ballots, with 4,987 received back in our office as of a few minutes ago.
Say that again, 4,000.
987.
That's great.
What's our projected turnout?
I would like to give you a projected one, but it's so up in the air right now.
What was the 2018?
It was about 40.
Wow,
Yeah,
okay,
well,
last
that was
midterms, okay.
Let's call it, just for the sake of argument, 50% here. How many
Good.
registered voters do we have?
56,376.
Times, again, say 50% of them turn out, that's 28,000.
Yeah.
So in other words, roughly a quarter of the votes, and that's with a 50% turnout rate, are gonna be through mail.
Right.
Roughly 25% of the votes.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. And they're still coming in. I bet you we're
Wow.
getting anywhere from 30 to 50 mail-in applications a day coming in the process.
That's why I saw my great uncle was sitting out there earlier today with his wife, waiting for a ballot. And I know my dad will be, so you got at least two more coming in there, well, the one already coming.
All right. So yeah, that's what we got. We're pretty busy in there, as you guys all know, so, but everything's good.
And if I could add, Tim and I had conversation yesterday. We were talking about the turnaround of somebody coming in off the street wanting to vote by mail, you know, but still stay at the courthouse to do their ballot. If there's only one person that's there, Tim said that they fill out the mail-in ballot request, it gets turned in, they get into the SURE system, and that's the delay. If the SURE system is delayed, then they're delayed.
Yeah.
But if there's no delay, they can verify on the SURE system, get the ballot filled and returned within 15 minutes. About 15
Right
minutes.
about that now.
Yeah,
Especially now, since I'm getting foot traffic, I switched
probably
gears.
longer.
No, I switched gears and I'm processing applications along with Susie. So there are
Gotcha,
two of us
okay.
doing it now.
Gotcha.
So, we're doing our best to
Okay,
get
okay.
anybody their ballot.
Very good.
Today, somebody waited, I bet you they're gonna wait about 25 minutes.
That's still better than
So,
Not
paying
voting.
for the pharmacy, right?
and then they'll vote, turn it in, and then we put it in
There
the
you go,
lockbox.
yeah. So I was glad to hear that,
Yeah,
that
a lot
was
of
going
people
as
are
well
opting
as
to
it
do
is.
that.
Yes, good.
When are we gonna start to deploy election machines to the precincts?
That will happen, the week before election, on a Wednesday. I need a calendar.
Right over on the wall here, Tim.
Second, Wednesday the
Yes,
second,
the
because
second.
it is etched in my mind
Yeah.
that next Tuesday is November 1st.
Yes, which is the
Where did
last,
October
that
go?
is a deadline for applications
Yes.
as well.
Applications for mail-in ballots.
Yeah, they need to be in the office by 5 o'clock. The courthouse will be open till 5 o'clock for that.
Okay.
So
When is the machine test?
the public test
Yeah.
will be the Friday before election.
Friday before the elections. That's when we do a public test of the machines. Any member of the public welcome to come and see how the machines work. And we certainly welcome public participation in that process.
Yes, and it's in the paper too. It's in the paper.
Yeah, you're required to do a legal ad.
Yes, sir,
Right.
and I did that.
Good.
That's gonna be in there for,
What is that date again?
that was the, fourth.
We have the time, Tim.
I put 10, but you know, if somebody comes later, I don't have a problem, so.
Okay.
Dan, you have any questions for Tim?
No, at the end, I do, but it's just, it's a scheduling question, but that'll be at the end of the meeting. But no, right now, no,
Okay.
thank you.
Absolutely. Loretta, anything additional?
That's it, thank you.
All right, Tim, anything more to report?
No, not right now.
Okay, on new business, we have a resolution to approve election workers' pay schedules. This is the first time I believe we've done this. We're doing it at the request of the controller. Just formalizing the rate schedule allows payments to be made a little bit easier, and making sure we're in full compliance with all county laws, and regulations relating to the payment of employees, contractors, vendors, et cetera. For the purposes of this specific schedule, we're treating the election workers as effectively vendors. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Is there anything here that you guys want to add?
Nope.
Great. I'll note that there are no changes this year. If any changes will be made next year, that's something we'll have to consider and add into the budget for 2023 when that time comes.
Very good.
Questions, comments from my colleagues?
No,
No, sir. Just again, and I'm sorry, he already asked you, sometimes I need to hear things 3 times. All of this documentation that's attached, which will become part of the record, assuming we vote on this resolution. You folks have worked in conjunction with Mr. Germaini, and you're all on the same page.
Correct.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks, Commissioner Boyd.
What number will this be?
06.
6. We have a motion on resolution 2022-6.
so moved.
I'll second.
Good motion is second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Chris, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Tim, is there anything else that needs to be decided here today?
No, that's what I wanted to take care of. I just wanted to show you guys the new payroll forms that everybody will fill out for election day. And I'll notify all the judges and everything about that.
I'll tell you what, we have our counselor walking, and unless anyone would object, we've been getting some questions on the Supreme Court ruling relating to whether to count or not to count undated ballots, which have been submitted. Would either of you or Tim object to Jason giving an overview of what the county's,
No,
what the county's
in fact, I'll relinquish my seat so he can be on the camera. How's that?
He's in the hot seat now.
Jay front and center?
Now, that nameplate has my name on it. I hope nobody confuses you.
Oh, they're shooting at me, Dan.
They said, Dan looks so much better these days.
I just stay with it for more.
Yeah, they're shooting at me. If anyone out there, it's me.
Well, regarding the undated ballots, that litigation is presently pending in front of the Pennsylvania Supreme Court through extraordinary jurisdiction and King's Bench rights. At the moment, until we receive guidance from the courts, the elections office is segregating all undated ballots, putting them to the side, and just waiting for the court to make a decision. And we just want guidance one way or the other.
With those, I think it's important to note here, the dates that come in on those ballots, even if the individual has not dated them. Do we stamp them
I
and when we receive
timestamp
them?
every one of them, yeah, yes.
And then the other question I have is, by the letter of the law, is the date on the ballot required to be the date at which the voter filled it out, or could it be any date?
It can be, it is not indicated in the law what the date needs to be.
So in other words, they
It
could,
just says that the outer envelope needs to be, the affidavit needs to be signed and dated.
so in other words, in theory, a voter could put down their birth date and it would count as it's a dated envelope.
In theory.
All right, and again, I want to reemphasize that when we receive these mail-in ballots, we stamp them in and we make sure that they're in before the 8 o'clock deadline on election day.
Yes,
They're stamped in and they're entered into the SURE system.
yes.
Thank you. Any questions for my colleagues for the solicitor?
Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. Anything further to discuss?
I do have one thing, and it's a scheduling matter, very minor, but traditionally, we've convened this board the day before the election. And I'm not sure if it's the intent of either you as the chair or you as the director to recommend that we convene Monday, the 7th. The reason I'm bringing that up is if we do, I'd like to ask that maybe we do it perhaps 9:30 or 10 o'clock. And the reason, and I'm a little bit selfish on my part, I've got a
Just like you,
meeting of the, yeah, I know, always throwing sand into the machine, right?
just like you did.
I've got a noon meeting in Oil City of the Northwest Commission. And, but again, I wasn't sure if you needed us to meet the day before the election or whatever.
It's to have the board open, basically, is all it
Okay,
is.
so you feel that we would need to convene.
We can't leave it open, we can't stay unadjourned here.
We recess today.
If we don't recess today,
I would suggest still having the meeting on Monday
Okay.
simply because we may need to alert the public of the intentions of Veterans Day. Depending on,
Well,
Future
Based,
decision.
based upon the solicitor's comments, my request of you is if we do in fact meet that morning, could we meet maybe at 9:30 or 10?
Why don't we do 10? I'm looking at the calendar right now, it looks like we've got a couple of assessment appeal board meetings that are scheduled for this room. And with that being said, the hope is that they're over by then, but we may wanna just for purposes of that meeting, schedule it for our conference room.
Yeah.
And we have
Right.
the camera capabilities up
Right.
there.
right,
Okay,
because they generally take a whole day
Yeah,
you know,
if they're in here.
thanks for catching that. 10 would work for me. I'm gonna have to be on the road by 10:30.
I can't imagine unless
So we're just open.
something happens.
That's it.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Thank you for that courtesy.
So 10 a.m.
10 a.m. And Tim, will you be able to get together with Chris, take care of that legal ad?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
No problem. Any other questions, comments for the board? Tim, anything else?
No, sir.
Outside?
Other than that, everything's going pretty good and, we're gearing up. It's gonna be an exciting election for sure.
yes,
So, my
Good.
staff and I just wanna thank them as always. They're doing a good job.
Are we at 11 days, 12 days? Always exciting.
Yeah.
I will adjourn the Lawrence County Board of Elections.
okay.
Oh, thanks,
Thanks, Dave.
Warren has to turn off the video. Notice he did it, I would push the